Okay. YouTube says I'm live. I haven't even been able to go into YouTube to check and see if I'm live, but I'm going to go do that now.
That's Dave's job. Make Dave do it.
No, it's okay. I'm on it because I get to see our picture now. It's wonderful. No, I hear myself, so that's great. Now we're live. Now it's gray areas. April 1st, 2025. Fuck April Fools. Episode 667. Welcome. We're not doing any April Fools related content. We all hate it. You just missed about 45 seconds of me and Cody going off on it. But we're actually live now. I can see us and hear us. Everything is fine.
Dave, you were going to say something about why you love April Fools, I think was what you were about to say.
No, I don't love April Fools. I definitely think that on this type of day, if you see something online, what the hell are you doing believing it?
No.
Like, how gullible do you have to be? And you're right, with AI, oh my God, everything changes with AI because it's already difficult enough to discern what's real and what's not. And if you add that layer of like, hey, this is the day all about trying to trick you, well, there you go.
Yes, I said that opinion and statement didn't get caught on it being live, but every day in America is basically April Fool's now because everyone can AI generate whatever fake movie poster or TV thing or what the fuck ever, really.
Yeah.
So we already have to deal with that issue. And then I had to track down, like, more or less today of trying to find out if this Trader Joe's sign was even posted that someone made a prank or was it AI generated that someone made a prank and if anyone actually saw it in person, really. Yeah. Which I don't actually know the answer to still right now.
So how do you feel about harmless April Fool's jokes?
When it's a prank, especially when it's an offline prank, it's funny and it's fine.
Well, even in an online one, for example, like I sent the group earlier one today. Arizona State, my beloved alumna, posted a thing that said, coming this fall, a maroon field where they're going to have the color of the football field be maroon. Which is ludicrous, especially in Phoenix, because I think someone might get second-degree burns if they got tackled on that in a day game. But it was a joke. That's harmless. There's nothing wrong with that.
Because that is so inherently harmless, and because it's coming from the source that would create that, like they're inflicting the pain on themselves. If people believe it, it reflects on them having to explain it was a joke. Totally fine. Mm-hmm. When we're a newspaper in town and everyone's obsessed with Trader Joe's showing up, and then someone puts a fake Trader Joe's is coming on this date, which again is so easily transparent that it's a joke, but people are so gullible they believe it. Then they go to the newspaper who's indirectly reported that there won't be a Trader Joe's anytime soon, saying, well, what about this? That's when I get agitated. And then we have to be like, oh my God, why am I having a fact check society right now? We have to do enough fact checking and wasting our time during like election season when people just lie and lie and lie. And we have to write stories that say, here's this 3 statements were wrong, and here's the sourcing of every single article that explains why. ASU doing that, genuinely funny. Really well done, either AI design or like graphic design. Straight up, it looks great. I saw all the comments of the post you sent me, and everyone's like, yeah, that's not really practical, but wow, guys, it looks really good, which was my response as well. And that's perfectly fine because it doesn't impact anybody else other than the people who posted the joke. And that's like, to me, that's so much different than like trying to prank someone of like, oh, well, this is, again, we've put up stories long ago that were like April Fool's jokes, which were so transparently, clearly a joke. And yet people see it from a newspaper and are like, well, that's really, it's legit. Chris obviously has stopped that tradition for a lot of years now, especially in this day and age. It doesn't work really at all because people report things that aren't really true from certain media sources on both sides of everything in the first place. And then you hurt people who aren't involved in that, and it's kind of unfair in some ways, especially when we AI people into posters and shit. It's like, yeah, those people don't have anything to do with that.
And we had one of the most serious stories we're going to have for a long time on the front page of today's paper. And I was telling folks, like, imagine if we still did the tradition of doing the fake story and stuff, it would have been right alongside this. So we have an awful, terrible story for the community and this fake, jokey one, which I'm sure for some people is harmless enough, but it's like the damage that's been done with the idea of fake news and all this other stuff over the last 9 years. Like, I'm sorry, but if other outlets want to have fun, and again, I agree, it's harmless enough when it's at your own expense. I don't want to be a killjoy if people get happiness out of this. I never really liked it even before I took over a newspaper, so it's not like this is a recent development. But there are times where I'm like, hey, you know what might be good? You see a sign for Trader Joe's? Is it there tomorrow? Is it there tomorrow? You need news so quickly because you're so used to smartphones now. Just wait till tomorrow, because guess what? It's not going to be built by tomorrow if it is real or not. So just wait. Just wait one day and then go see. And then if it's still there, ask us. Yeah. I'm like, okay, that's fair. Like, what's today? What's today's date?
Like today's point, like when a brand says like, oh, we're now introducing a whatever gross version of a cereal or whatever. It's a lame joke, but it's like, again, it doesn't hurt anything. And it's so clearly a joke. And again, the brand is the one being like, so many people are going to be like, why the fuck would you make that flavor? That's nasty, guys. What the fuck? It's like, okay, well then the social media person who posted the joke now has to just interact with all the bullshit. That's fine. That's your own problem.
And on the flip side, don't do something that people are going to be disappointed to find out isn't true. Like deeply disappointed. Like back in like the late 2000s, they did that with like a fake trailer for a Zelda game. And everybody was like, oh my God, Zelda, whoa, oh my God. Or it was a movie, one or the other. It was some kind of Zelda project, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, that's going to be so cool!" And they're like, "Oh, it's not real. So it sucks that you were excited, but we regret to inform you that it is fake." And it's like, "Oh well, probably don't want to go that route either. If it's harmless and small, excuse me, then it doesn't matter because when you revoke it, people will go, "Oh, haha, you got me." But don't get people's hopes up a lot and then dash them. That doesn't work.
It's funny you bring up Zelda, because didn't the Zelda movie get confirmed like 3 days ago that it is going to happen, by the way?
Yeah, that's coming.
As funny enough as you use that as the thing that people joked about however many years ago, it's actually a couple days before April Fool's. The real news was actually
They basically confirmed the release date for it, and they did that in Nintendo's only bit of news that came out of their last Nintendo Direct before this big one tomorrow for the Switch 2, which was, we have a news app. And everybody was like, that could have been an email. I don't know why you made that a direct. So they had to justify it by putting some kind of news in there, and they put the Zelda movie's release date in it. And it's like, okay, fine, sure. Anyways, April Fool's sucks. We're not going to really dabble in it. We're not going to peddle fake news here because, well, I can't stand it. But we do have an activity for the group to do.
I will say I've hated pranks in general. Like the prank culture, the prank YouTube videos, the smashing of milk cartons, never understood the appeal.
It's the same idea. Harmless pranks, especially ones that have like a feel-good ending or something, that's okay. I don't hate all pranks, but the ones that are destructive, the ones that like ruin other people's property and stuff, like there's no place for that. It's not funny. It's fucking stupid.
My daughter changing my wife's phone this morning to show it was an hour later on the time than it actually was. So my wife freaked out and thought she overslept. I actually thought it was a pretty good little prank because nobody got hurt by it. My daughter was actually up and already ready for school. So it was a cool little, I thought it was a good little prank.
If she used it as a way to sleep in an extra hour and then blame Courtney for the fact that it's late, that's one thing, and that's not great. Mm-hmm. Making Courtney panic for about 10 minutes and then realizing that she's ready to go to school is actually pretty funny.
That's good.
Because she's responsible enough to actually follow through with what she's supposed to do, and it's a little bit of a panic, and that's actually a pretty funny prank. I will give her that for sure.
It was the damnedest thing this morning because I woke up, but my daughter woke up before me. I actually fell asleep on the couch last night just because I was tired, and I fell asleep. I hear rumbling in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, that must be Courtney up. Whatever, I'm gonna sleep a little bit longer. And then I go upstairs and I look, Courtney's still sleeping. I'm like, what the hell? She was downstairs. And then she wakes up and Courtney looks at her phone and goes, it's 7:30. Oh my God. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. It's 6:30. I show her my phone. And then later on we find out my daughter did. I'm like, bravo.
Yeah, see, that's even more clear. You clarified it like immediately.
Yeah.
Not only is it harmless and fun, but it's also like a flex.
Yeah.
Like, not only am I totally ready to go so that you're not going to be pissed off at me for this, but I did all this and was still ready to go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like 9.5 out of 10. That's good stuff.
The not so good thing was she also put together all her brother's water bottles and poured a bunch of salt in them. So she thought the kids would have taken water bottles with salt in, and my wife was like, no, that one's not good. That's about a 2 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, she tried her best.
Yeah.
1 out of 2 ain't. For being 11, 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
That's also kind of a thing you do to your younger brothers. Like, you don't dare do that to mom.
Yeah.
But, younger brothers, we got to haze them a little bit. It's like, well, maybe not in a state where people die doing athletics in the heat because they don't have enough water. Let's roll that one back a bit.
I like how, by the way, you assumed that the rummaging in the kitchen wasn't your fat ass dog. It easily could have been your fat dog getting into shit, and you were like, no, it's Courtney or nothing, so I'm just going to ignore the fact that Bo might be eating everything on Earth, but it's fine.
I heard water bottles. I specifically heard ice going into water bottles. My dog doesn't have a bottle.
No, he doesn't have a. You're right. Okay.
I do like to imagine Bo just on the island, though, eating things somehow, and you're just laying there like, oh, this is good. This is fine.
we're really good about putting food away because my dog will eat anything on the counter.
Good boy. He's cleaning up after you.
So one of the things that we've introduced over the last few months, because, some segments come, some go, we bring back some in a retro sense, but I've enjoyed the 3 NBA drafts we did. You guys did a really good job in them. I was super pleased with how they turned out, and a couple of them ended up being really close. Cody ran away with the last one, but the first 2 were really close right up until the end, both in each individual draft and the overall combined one. So I thought we would bring that back with a bit of a twist. And so that's what we're doing today.
I don't like twists.
You don't like twists? You're going to like this twist, or you're going to be sad. I don't know. There we go. Everybody's there.
I don't know what the twist is.
The show's called Gray Areas. We've long talked about the idea of, meeting in the middle, finding the gray areas and things, not worrying about extremes and outliers and black and white. We've used these drafts as kind of a chance to look through NBA history and celebrate the best scorers. We did everything with points and all that jazz. And I thought, well, we need to do something besides points. And I thought about like rebounds or something. And there's a few other future ideas. But your goal in this draft is to draft 8 players, just like in the past drafts, with a little bit of positions tied to them. Again, you got guard, forward, center, 3 any position. And your goal is to draft a team that has as close to a 15 PER as possible.
God.
Now, PER, of course, for the people who are watching who are a little bit less familiar with basketball, is player efficiency rating. Don't worry about the stuff that goes into it. It's a really complicated formula by John Hollinger. It's not even that good of a stat. It's got flaws, but it's still the easiest way to sort of measure a person's contributions via stat in one stat. So this has everything that's in a box score kind of folded into it. And basically, the reason we're looking for a 15 PER is it's a scale that's based on 15 being the average. 15 is an average NBA player. It goes from 0 to 30-ish. There's actually been a handful of seasons over 30. So you're trying to draft the most mid-team possible. The goal of this is to pick some names we don't normally talk about. Like if we go for another one where, let's take the highest PER possible. Well, guess what? Nikola Jokic is probably really good at PER. Spoiler alert, he's number 1 all time. So we've already mentioned him in the other drafts as well. Now, your strategy on this, and I'm going to leave it open to y'all how you want to approach this and stuff, is up to you. You can try and have everybody be as close to 15 as possible. You can try and get a few picks in and then correct for where you're at. You can try and go extreme outliers and meet in the middle somewhere. The only thing I will tell you as a hint to go into this, because it's, PER is not a stat people just know. Like you guys know, somebody had 30 points per game that one season. Nobody knows what the fuck anybody's PER was. 0 to 30 is kind of a mirage, because to have a 0 PER, you probably sucked so much that you fell out of the league. Like, you don't stick around too long if you're bad enough to have a 0 PER. So the lowest PER of any player who's played 10,000 minutes in the NBA is 7. So keep that in mind if you start trying to average out to get to 15 somewhere in there. It's not like 0 to 30 and 15's in the middle.
Right.
15 is average, but you're going to be picking players one by one on their career WAR.
So this is basically let's remember some guys.
Yep. And what I like about this and why I picked this as a format is you can go as obscure as you want to. Cody, you want to pull from those early 2000 Lakers teams because that's one you know more? You can do that.
I want to make a whole team of them.
These guys can pick Suns. When a player's taken, they're off the board, but you're going to be picking from a pool of as many players as you really need for 8 spots. So how you want to go about it is up to you. It's why it doesn't really matter who goes first. We're going to snake either way just to make it even. But it's really just about trying to get yourself as close to the middling team as possible.
I love the idea because there's immediately 8 random shitty mediocre Laker players that pop up on my brain, and I have no concept of where they're going to be. So I'm going to pick 3 guys and be like, oh, so that guy was a 14 or that guy was an 8. Now I know I should pick a player that is sort of better. So this is going to be a feeling out process for the first 4 or 5 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sounds weird.
Keep in mind that
all right.
The things that are in there, again, are mostly from the box score, so it's not really defensive-based. It's part of the flaw of PER for some people is that it's very offensive-driven because the only things that are in it for defense are steals and blocks. And as we all know, there are a handful of players in the league who gamble for steals and or blocks and then ruin the rest of their defense because they've gone way out of position and now it's like a horrible 4-on-3 or just an easy layup or something. So it doesn't necessarily measure defensive impact, so people with better offensive stats, even if they're a turnstile on defense, have a better PER because that's not in there.
And you said career, right? So
career.
We're not choosing years.
Correct. Just career.
Is there a minutes restriction? Like we can pick any player?
You can pick any player. Now, I will tell you that this goes back to 1952.
Oh.
So it's even pre-merger. You can take some olds if you want to. However, the one caveat I'll tell you is that certain stats that are in the formula for PER didn't exist through all of basketball history. For example, turnovers didn't start until I think 72 or 73. So they have a metric to measure them, and the metric represents it. Good old players are certainly higher up in PER than bad old players, but it's not quite the same as the one from the last 25 years or so. So you can pick whomever you want to. You can pick George Mikan if you want to. You can pick any old player you want to. But the numbers may come out a little janky because they weren't really meant to represent what the formula does now.
Okay. So basically the idea is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 15. Basically, we want to have, what is that, 105?
The total will be 120, and I also have a thing for your averages. I didn't want to put it on the screen because I didn't want to redo everything, but I have the averages here, and I'll be able to tell you the last couple picks. Like, all right, so you're at this point, you're going to need to get around this for your last couple. I'll help you out with the math of it. But yes, the total you want, a perfect game would be 120.
Yeah.
That's 15 PER times 8 players.
Okay.
And I think we'll just start with Dave and just go voop
Okay.
back and forth because, again, there's not – I mean, I guess you can argue that, well, Dave might pick a player I would pick, but, again, you have every player you could ever want. So unless you guys have objections, I'm just going to go that route.
If I was going to hope I got to go third was what I was going to ask to do, so I can't
Cody's cheating. Cody put his phone away.
I'm watching the Kings game.
Yep.
Should I not watch the Kings game while I'm doing this?
No, of course not.
I want to watch the Kings game. Kings game. It's important.
He's distracted.
They're playing the best team in the NHL right now. I'm really upset. I want to watch the fucking game.
Just put it in a place, like prop it up on one of the tables or something where Sean can see that it's the Kings game.
I will
and then
do that for him.
That's fine.
Absolutely.
Because if he looks over and he sees anything else, then he can take your phone and throw it in the ocean.
Oh, they're up 2-0 already.
Here's the caveat. If you're gonna watch the Kings game, you can only pick Kings players.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Sacramento Kings players?
Yep.
Yes. Or Kansas City.
So this will be a chance to kind of look at some fun players. You might pick some common names. You might pick some off-the-wall ones. It's entirely up to you how you want to go about this. And again, you'll probably have to adapt no matter which approach you take because you'll end up being like, oh, I'm a little low. I got to get some slightly better players to help it level it out.
Well, I already know who I'm picking first.
Okay.
This is an easy pick for me. I think this is really going to help me get a gauge for kind of where we sit on PER because I am not great with understanding PER. I'm really mad you didn't use LeBron as the stat. That was a better stat keeping thing. I don't even know what it stands for. But anyway, the player I'm picking first is David Robinson because I just have to. Like, I got to get a gauge of where we are, and it's me.
It's going to be way
David
too
Robinson.
high. Well, but that's okay.
I
If
can
it's
offset
high,
it.
that's okay.
Yeah.
I have an offsetting pick. Believe me. I have a great offsetting
Because you'll
pick.
correct, and that's fine. Again, you can go extreme outliers to get to the middle. You can try and pick all middling players. You can do however you really want to go.
I mean,
about
I'm going to
this.
pick players I like that were mediocre, so it's fine.
All right. The only downside of this is I have to keep scrolling on every.
Yeah, you're going to
basketball
have to
reference page.
search a lot because I'm going to say stupid names of players.
David Robinson is one of the players who has had a 30-plus PER season.
Good job,
He's
Dave.
done it twice, or did it twice. He's not going to do it again, I don't think. He only had one season below 20, and it was his last. For his career, David Robinson had a 26.2 PER.
That is higher than I thought it would be, but that's okay. Like I said, I have an offset.
Granola looks good.
Big Ben Wallace.
I like that.
Why is it Big Ben Wallace?
Because he was
It's
big.
there.
He's
Big
Big
Ben.
Ben.
Big
Yeah, get
Ben.
it?
Hello.
Like the clock.
Yeah.
I know.
Come on. Duh.
It's more the accent he said it in that I
You
don't
didn't want to
understand.
pick someone named Sean? Like he picked a David Robinson? You didn't want
There's
to
a
pick Sean?
commercial where somebody says, Big Ben Wallace.
I remember that.
So-
I remember it very
I
well.
could have picked
This is
Sean Kemp, Sean Bradley, like so many.
Hey, don't say
Seans.
Sean Bradley because that might be a person on my list.
This is where I'm going to put
Oh,
you
you
to the
gotta pick
test a
first,
little
then.
bit. I wonder if the did you move
I
the
probably
camera
moved the
by
camera when I
chance?
was fucking around with the
Okay.
game.
I was like, I don't think it was that off center.
Let me figure it. I don't want to touch it more because I'll make it worse.
I'll come out and fix
Just
it in a
scoot over.
second.
Yes, I ruined
So-
everything because I wanted to watch hockey.
One of the things I'm going to do here is just push you guys in the spot a little bit. Is ask, what are you looking for here, Sean? Like, what do you think this is? Do you think it's high, low, mid? Like,
Whoa.
what are you thinking?
I think low. Like, he was good and he had some blocks and stuff, but he didn't fucking score. Couldn't
His free throw
score.
percentage was awful.
Ben Wallace
17.
had a PER of 6 his rookie year. Never had a PER higher than 18.6.
Oh, wow.
And yet, for his career, if you're looking for people to like nail the whole concept of the draft, he was a 15.5 PER. So in the spirit of the draft, that's an excellent pick.
Great.
He is as mid as you can get because he was so good defensively and offensively. I mean, he had lots of rebounds and stuff, which does add up. But like you said, free throws, scoring was a disaster.
Holy shit, does that make me second guess everything? Is he the worst? He made the Hall of Fame, right? Yep. Is he the worst PER Hall of Famer?
Probably. Oh my god!
Like by not close.
Wow. No, there's got to be. There's some weird Hall of Famers.
And also the old names again could be a little all over the place, so I can't say for sure. But he's definitely one of the worst offensive players that's ever in the Hall of Fame.
This is gonna be fun for us, and like not fun for because the names I'm thinking of right now, most people are not gonna have heard.
Oh no, I'm gonna pull out a bunch of bullshit.
That's
like I said, bullshit Laker players right now.
Like I said, I think that was gonna be more fun because again, it's fun to pick chalk, and we'll do more challenges where you're trying to pick the best. But I was like, this is gonna be fun to mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
So because he was my favorite player on the Lakers because he was a pain in the ass, I'm going to go with Sasha Vujacic.
Oh, God, your favorite?
My absolute favorite player.
Our second episode of this podcast, we basically did an entire section of how much we hate Sasha Vujacic. I'm not even kidding.
I loved him. I had his jersey, Dave.
I am so glad I didn't know you.
Not only did I have his jersey, I custom made it to put the machine on the back instead of Vujacic.
Oh,
well,
straight up, absolute real. I went to a Lakers game with that jersey, and I was celebrated as a human being.
Ugh. This changes everything how I feel about you. Like,
look, I don't like the Lakers anymore, so problem solved. I went so far as I was watching Nets games consistently because he was on the Nets at that point.
What did you like about him?
He's a dick.
How is a bitch?
He's a dick.
Okay, well, I guess that fits.
I mean, consider the source. What are you expecting out of this?
I don't know, like an 8. 7. Well, you said the worst player ever. I don't know, 10.5, something like that.
He's gonna be 13. That's my guess.
Technically, Sasha Vujacic didn't play the 10,000 minutes required to qualify for that worst ever moniker. Which
you're right.
He
definitely did it.
He had a 3.4 PER in 11 games of the Lakers in 2011. He had a 1.5 in the middle of his 4 seasons, where that was the only 2 games he played in the league for the Clippers in 14.
Yep.
But he also had some decent years for the Lakers. So for his career, Sasha Vujacic, oh God, I don't remember how to spell his name.
V-U-C-I-C.
I'll go look in a minute.
Vujacic
has an 11.5 PER.
All right,
Okay.
not
I'll
too
go back
bad.
and spell his name.
Sasha V.
Vujacic. That's right.
Why don't you put Anna? Wasn't it Anna Kournikovas?
They were indeed
Maria
dating.
Sharapova,
Yes.
I think. But yes.
Okay, Maria Sharapova.
Sharapova, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, that was my crush back
Really?
then. So that was
Sharapova's boyfriend.
They were, and then she was like, "Why am I dating this guy?"
right. What have I done?
As you should be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Cody, we snake just for the sake of keeping it balanced, so that's fair to
So
everybody.
I'm gonna go with I mean, this is probably gonna end up being too high, but I'm actually just curious where it ranks all time. I want Vlade Divac.
Okay, this is gonna be really high.
He's gonna be kind of high.
I'm actually curious. I'm using this as a fun experiment. Like, well, how good was he actually?
The funny thing is, if you get it with a 21, you're in actually pretty good shape after 2 picks.
Exactly.
All right. Vlade Divac, remarkably consistent. I have to say that much for him. I guess I really shouldn't be putting teams because these players all bounced around all over the place anyway. So let's go back and
our first 2 Sean's pick and my pick were pretty solid.
Yeah, but still, we'll just ignore that because he played for not a bunch of different teams, but several for multiple years. Consistent, only 1 season below 15, and that was his last, where he played 15 games, so it kind of hurt him a bit. But for his career, Vlade Divac, a 17.7.
I'll take that.
Pretty damn good there, Cody.
I'll take that.
It's not bad for a guy who averaged 11 points per game for his career.
Let's go low. Let's go low because I think it's easier to go high.
I would agree.
Let's go Thomas Gugliotta. Mr. Thomas Gugliotta.
Thomas Gugliotta.
Yeah.
Yes. No one's ever called him Thomas. He's gonna be 12. That's my guess.
I was thinking like
he had a couple good
6.
seasons.
See, the best thing about Chris's format for this is we can repeat this shit so much because there's so many mediocre players across the NBA, and I'm really going to be fascinated by this.
Thomas, excuse me. Got to call him by his government name.
Yeah, Thomas.
Had 2 seasons of 20 PER, one of which was his first with the Suns before he fell off a cliff.
Okay.
He was that good? I can't believe it.
He also had a 5.2 in his part of his last season with the Suns before he got traded to the Jazz. So a little bit all over the place, especially once injuries started hampering him. But it's once again sort of along the lines of what the game is looking for, because Tom Gugliotta had a 15.9.
Damn!
I know
Oh,
my fucking mid
Sean.
players. I know my mid players.
Weirdly enough, Gugliotta was one of the guys I thought about when I was thinking like, who's a mid player? I didn't actually go look him up, but it's funny to see him here.
You spelled his name wrong though. It's Thomas. I don't
Thomas, right?
understand.
I'm
It's
sorry.
Thomas.
Thomas James Gugliotta.
Home off.
Okay.
DJ
Well,
Gugliotta.
see, I wanted to go more outlier, so I'm going to finish my outlier aspect here and pull a name of hatred from Suns history. I'm going to go with Marcus Banks.
That's gonna be bad. That's
I
gonna
know.
be really bad.
You guys have so many shitty players you drafted really high that you get to pull from. So Dave gets to do the like, let me get mid 20s and let me get like a couple 7s because they won't qualify under the minutes thing anyway.
Mhm.
Not fair.
Yeah, he only played 5,500 minutes in his career, mostly because other than his first 2 seasons, he never played more than 58 games.
Because he got on the Suns as they we gave away Rajon Rondo for him, and then he sucked.
After his first 4 seasons, he never played more than 36 games. But, and this goes to show you the exercise of PER, he hung in the league. He was not like absolute trash, although we certainly remember him as such. So, Marcus Banks, for his career, had a PER of 12.2. Which brings your
Higher than I
average
thought.
down to 19.2. It was obviously 26, but it's still got some work to do.
I have a question. Do we have mulligans in this thing if I say a player who doesn't actually exist because I got his name wrong?
I think we would just give it to you.
As
yeah,
a 0?
as long as
No,
you can
just choose
describe
again.
him well
Okay.
enough, I think that's fine.
I like the idea of you picking Will Ferrell's character from the Flint Tropics.
You can't do that.
Jackie Moon.
Jackie
I'm
Moon.
not
pick
going to do that.
Jackie Moon.
I must be very transparent. There's like 3 dudes named Brian that were front court players in the Lakers when they were shitty, and I don't remember which one was which, and I might get the names wrong, and that's why I was just curious.
All right, Dave, the snake pick.
All right. For pick number 2, I'll stick along those shitty Suns lines. I think a good middling player is someone I also hated in the mid 90s because they traded one of my favorite players for him. So I'm gonna pick John Hot Rod Williams.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I didn't know shit about basketball. I mean, this is
I
what,
knew
like,
it was a bad trade.
I think I was 10 or 11 when the trade
1996.
happened with Marley, and I was like, why?
Why are we getting rid of Marley? I love Marley.
Like, why? What? And again, I'm 10. I obviously don't know anything. But even I was like, I don't know about that. Now, John Hot Rod Williams was actually a decent player for Cleveland.
He was.
Had a 16.4 PER for them. Did not deliver that for the Suns in his 3 years there or with Dallas with his final season. But he is one of those players that we were talking about. I think he's a forward, a center. I don't know. He was a big. He's listed as power forward and center, whatever. Hot Rod Williams for his career. Another one of those mid picks, 15.6.
Holy shit.
Bingo. There we go.
Holy shit. Can you be named Hot Rod with a 15.6 PER?
Again, like another guy who averaged 11 points per game for his career.
Cody, have you heard of this player? Tony Delk. That's my guess.
I actually do know that player.
Okay.
Well, if you take that one game he had where he had 50 points, that's going to be a high PER.
Mhm. And he averaged 9 points per game for his career, so that 50 was doing a lot of work.
It really was.
Tony Delk, how many teams
It's
did
5
Tony,
games worth of work.
Tony Delk played for? 8 teams in 10 seasons.
I thought it was 6.
God damn. And I think one of those was a return trip. So technically, yeah, because he played for Atlanta in 2 stints. So he technically played for 9 teams in 10 years. Did have a 50 burger, one of I think 8 in Suns history or something like that.
Yet he played 10 years in the NBA. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
That's pretty
again,
damn
that's,
good.
that's more than a lot of people can say. A lot of people don't make it 10 years.
Mhm.
Tony Delk, for his career, is your worst pick yet. Barely.
14.8.
I wanted low.
Had a 13.7 for his career.
No.
Which,
Wow.
if we were to stop right
Oh,
now,
man.
would bring your average to just a hair above
Sean,
15. So
I'm
you're
pretty sure 45 after 3 players is almost perfect.
when we say worst pick, we just
Just
mean
a-
relative to 15. It's perfect for you for right now.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Well, I might be over. I might be. So here. So I shouldn't try and chase points right now and just say names. All right. Mid players. This might be too low, but he was. I mean, he had been around for a long time. Only because I was randomly thinking of him the other day. Let's go with the shittier Lopez twin. I would like Robin Lopez.
You mean Sideshow Bob?
Yeah.
Yes, sideshow
That's a
Bobbin.
good one.
He was just around for so
That's a
damn
good
long.
one.
He has isn't he still floating around?
He's finally gone.
No, he's playing.
No, he's finally gone.
Well, they haven't listed as active, so I guess he hasn't retired. He has not played a game this season.
Yeah, he's not on a team. I honestly looked it up recently because when my friend was in town, we were watching a game randomly, and Brooke was there, and I was like, "That's right." Brooke was like, "Does Robin still play?" And I just happened to look up that he was not signed right now.
He was on the same. He was on the Bucks with
2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yep, 23-24. We'll put Robin Lopez here because he's pretty definitively just a center.
Yes.
Robin Lopez is another guy who was mid 15.8
yes.
in his career.
Damn good, Cody.
45 exactly.
That's right.
I suck at this game comparatively.
So after 3 picks, Sean and Cody are neck and neck on the 45 line, which averages out to 15 or just above it. Yeah, he never really oscillated too much. He was just between like 13 and 17 pretty much his whole career.
When you said like these have to be guys who extended careers but had managed to stay around, I'm like, you just spoke Robin Lopez into existence.
9 teams and 16 seasons.
Absolutely know who my next pick is then, and I'm going to hate myself, but I got it.
All right.
I love the names we have up on the board, and it's just going to get worse.
Oh, it's going to get worse because I'm
Right.
going to run out of the players that I think are vaguely interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I could just dip into. You know what? Let's go further back for another player who I liked a lot. I have no idea what he's going to be. Let's go with Nick Van Exel.
Ooh.
I think he's
good.
probably
He was
too
Lakers
good
most-
for this,
Probably too.
but I'm curious because he was also one of my favorite players when I was a kid.
He was
Shot
one of
those
those
deep.
players on the Lakers after Showtime and before Kobe.
Yes,
I remember him.
the Dark
Yeah,
Ages,
I remember him very well. Yeah.
the very, very dark ages of the Lakers.
Nick Van
Yeah,
Exel.
you don't even remember Showtime, Cody.
I don't. I wasn't alive.
Van Exel made an
Exactly.
all-star team.
I did not remember.
He's a one-time all-star.
93?
1998.
93? Wow. That much late. Wow.
And I think
Later.
he got hurt the second half of the season. He only ended up playing like 60 games. So I don't know, but he was an all-star. I think he's another one that qualifies as mid because for his career he had a 15.8 PER.
Damn.
Pretty damn good.
I like my mediocre players. It's fine.
I'm still trying to go really bad. Like I've been trying to go.
I have a bad
You-
one pocketed
You guys
right
are
now.
like, oh, you're doing really well, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm actually trying to get something like in the single digits.
I have one right
So
there.
in that
yeah.
sense, I'm failing. Let's go
I
with
want you to name this player that I'm thinking of right now.
Jake Voskuhl.
Oh, okay. Not who I was thinking, but I like it.
I need forwards.
Jake
Shit.
Voskuhl had a game winner in the playoffs. I don't know how many players can say that.
That's true.
Jake Voskuhl did?
Yeah,
What?
he had
when?
unless I'm confusing it with the other guy with the V, but he had like a little hook shot against San Antonio.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure it was Voskuhl. It was the year.
remember
It was the
Stefan
second
Marbury
game
had
they
that.
won. It was the game after they hit the half court game winner.
Yeah.
The
Jake-
only game they won.
Jake Voskuhl somehow played 6,400 minutes in his career. That's more than a couple other plays we've mentioned so far. Played a fourth of those in just one season in Phoenix, 2004.
Yeah, I bet he did.
And if you were looking for terrible, you're on the right track. 10.8
Okay.
for his
100.
career. 100
100.
PER. We have never seen such efficiency.
I have a worse one that I'm gonna pull too.
So I need a 6. No, I have a really bad one that I'm thinking of, but I'm going to go for the mediocre level right now. And this is why I'm going to hate myself. So I'm going for one of the Morris twins, and that's going to be Marcus Morris.
Not where I thought you were headed, but makes sense. And you will hate yourself.
You do hate yourself right now.
Right now, for
It's
even
probably
saying the
gonna
name.
be
But
okay.
if you're thinking of long-term, hung around the league but didn't do great things,
Yeah.
like this is exactly what
Yeah.
we're looking for.
Okay, yeah.
22,100 minutes.
He's played a long time.
Yep.
I'm like blanking on mediocre like small forwards.
Oh, I have so
You know
many.
what's funny?
I desperately need to find them soon because I only have 4 players left to pick.
Marcus Morris never had a season in the NBA at 15 or higher.
Perfect. This is exactly what I needed here.
He came close a couple times. Obviously, he was a rotation guy for several years, and he wasn't like the worst, although we hate his guts. He ended up for his career with a 13.1.
This is exactly what I needed.
His
right
closest was 14.8 in 2014 for the Suns.
I got a worse one. I'm gonna go next after. Well, when it's
Wait,
Well, you mean when it's
right.
your turn?
Yeah, like the next one I'm gonna say is gonna be terrible.
I have a really bad one that I'm thinking in my mind, but You know, I'm just going to complete the hate train. Let's do his twin. He's probably going to have the same fucking stats. So
Probably going to
Let's
be. God,
Markeef's going to be 14.2.
there was they
But isn't
flip-flopped on
Markeef
who was better.
I thought Markeef was consistently slightly better.
overall,
Overall, like
yes.
as a yeah.
They oscillate. Like Markeef was better, then Marcus is better, and then
Yes.
Markeef is kind of.
Yep.
18,500 minutes for Markeef in his career, and he's still active. He's played
Wow,
in 7 games this season and started once. He's played 91 minutes.
like
for the
And then
Lakers.
Markeef.
Oh, and 7 more for
Well,
Dallas.
not Dallas, I think.
Dallas?
Yeah, 7 for Dallas, 7 for the Lakers this year. 132 minutes total.
What's the saying? He cashed a check with his mouth that his ass couldn't sign. With
Rasheed Wallace said that.
with
You're writing checks
Jokic.
that you're.
Ass can't catch.
Is that what it is?
Checks with your mouth, your ass can't catch.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, it ruins it when I do this,
And
but I
he got
want
his
I want
neck
to put them
broke.
together. So
because he
let's.
fucked with a
Oh,
Serbian.
that's fair.
There we go. Just so they can put them next to each other, right? Like they always wanted to be. Now he's starting for your team.
FOE, baby.
Markeef Morris did have the better earlier part of his career because he had 2 seasons where he had at least a 15 PER, both for Phoenix.
But
And then somehow this season he also has a 16.4 PER, which shows you that the sample size is so small it means nothing. I gotta get that filled in somehow. I'll work on that in a minute. I think I cut instead of copy. There we go. Great. For his career, Markeef Morris has a PER. Oh, I scrolled up by accident. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean this. Of 13.4.
Okay.
So technically, by John
holy
Hollinger's measure,
shit.
Markeef is better than Marcus.
I want to get in the
I
single
did
digits.
this perfectly.
Chris, let me know if this is just disqualified right off the bat, and I'll choose someone else. Magic Lampe.
That is maybe the most obscure name we're going to pull. That's for sure.
Maji Lampy.
I have no fucking idea who this is.
Oh, I have one that if I need. Let's see. I'm 5 over right now, so if I need someone, okay, I have an idea of one I want to pick.
I thought about putting in a minutes throreshold, and I didn't because I figured if you guys want to roll the dice on a guy who only played 632 minutes in his career, I was going to let you because why not?
You have no idea. Small sample size. He could be a 20.
But I mean, again, he did play 64 games in the NBA, 37 of them for the Suns. What the fuck is he, a center? Yeah. So since he's a center, he's got to go down here, and I've already forgotten how to spell his name. I think it was this. Whoops.
Oh, I think you're right.
Fuck. There we go. Got it.
Markeef.
And for his admittedly brief career, he only had 1 season over 10, and his total ended up being 8.5.
Hell yeah, I did it.
Sean has done it. He has
But you're-
succeeded.
You've got 5 players, and you're 10 under. You're 11, 10 and a half under.
Yeah, but it's easy to go up.
5.5
kind
over.
of.
Yeah.
I really I want to. I just gotta say this name, even though I need.
I mean, the
forwards.
magic number, what do we say? 105?
120.
120.
120. Yeah, 120.
Yep.
Easy.
I mean, because I'm like halfway there after 4.
And after we get through these 5th picks, I'll start giving you guys updates on what you have left.
I would like Smush Parker.
That's so
I
good.
like it.
That's so perfect
wonder-
because he's gonna be all right. Actually,
Like, how
I
much
think.
better is his career if his name isn't Smush?
Well, how much better is his career if he isn't Smush, and also if Kobe didn't hate his guts?
Yeah, if
for
Kobe didn't just
sucking
trash
that 1
him
year.
and endlessly over and over again.
It goes to
That's-
tell you how bad the mid-2000 Lakers were that Smush, I think, only played 28 games at most in any other season, but he played all 82 in 06 and 07. 2,400 and
it does-
2,700 minutes those 2 years.
I watched a lot
It
of those
does give me-
games.
It does give me a bit of respect for Kobe in those seasons. To take that Suns team to 7 is
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Smush Parker, and again, this just goes to show you that if you can hang it for a few seasons, you can't be that bad, has a PER of 11.7 for his career,
Bad.
Okay.
which is bad, to be clear. It's obviously
2.5
below
under.
average.
Not as low as I
but
wanted. I wanted lower.
He had a 13.4 in 06 and an 11.6 in 07, and since that was the vast majority of his minutes, they offset the other bad years.
All right, I'm going to go with another former Laker because I'm just going to keep pulling them endlessly.
I'm pulling former Suns.
Well,
it's fine.
I do hope. I don't know if he'll qualify for power forward, but I really need one. I would like Kwame Brown.
He's a
Doesn't
center,
be
you
bad.
idiot. He's gonna be real
It's gonna be
bad.
really bad.
I want lower because I need
It's
to
gonna be
find.
really,
I need
really
like
bad.
decent wing guys that I can put it forward.
He does have his seasons where he started his career with Washington, where they list him as a power forward, so
Yes.
he will be allowed. He played 4 seasons.
Thank
where
you
played-
very much. I
He was
appreciate
more a center, but he played enough to qualify.
it.
so
I
he
just
can be a
needed. I needed to
forward,
pull it.
We don't
So-
really care about the positions. Again, we're just not going to put Smush Parker at center.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I get like a guy who's decently.
Yeah, I mean, it has to at least have some eligibility, and he does. He played 4 seasons where he's listed as that first. 13,400 minutes for his career.
It's crazy.
12 seasons, 7 teams.
I love that you're picking people that the all-time greats have shit on, because Kwame Brown got shit on by Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
Yeah, and maybe deservedly so.
Perfect.
For his career,
Yeah.
despite his high draft slot, a 12.5 PER.
That is
It's-
somehow better than I would have thought.
So
it
that
would
brings
be.
you to an average of 14.17.
Okay, we
With
need a
your
little cushion
2
there.
picks
That's
left, you need 35 between your 2 picks.
I'll take one of the Bryans off your board, Cody. Let's go Brian Cardinal.
That
I
was
remember-
one of them.
I
He
know.
wasn't a former Laker, I
I
don't
know
believe
it
at any
was.
point, but it was
No.
it was one of the shitty Bryans I had in my brain.
I want to say both the Bryans I'm thinking of were on Boston. Because I think Brian Cardinal's on Boston. Maybe I'm wrong.
I believe so.
He was not.
Oh,
I
no?
also would have guessed he was. In my head, that made
Grizzlies?
sense. Grizzlies, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Pistons, Warriors, Wizards.
Okay.
I only would have pulled the Grizzlies out of that. I thought maybe the Bulls were in there.
6,500 minutes in 12 seasons. Just kind of hung around and, if
Rode
I'm not
the bench
mistaken,
for a long time.
won a title with Dallas. And in his career, he actually has for the Warriors for that one season. I don't remember him even playing for the Warriors. I guess it was like his breakout season. He had a 19.4 for the Warriors and has a 17.7 for the Grizzlies. But for his career, it's a 12.7.
Okay.
So,
Right.
Sean, that brings you to an average of 12.85, 77.1
Still higher.
total. You're going to need 42.9 over your last 2 picks.
It's not fair. Sean could just pull like a 29-point player now and then get a mediocre player and he wins.
And that's one of the strategies. But then if he overshoots and the player's too good or something, it could cost him. It's all a risk because we don't know.
Yep.
All right, Dave.
You've inspired me. Sean has inspired me. The Brian
White
has
Mamba?
really inspired me well. White Mamba himself, Scalabrini, baby.
That is the other Brian.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah.
I knew that one was coming
Did-
as soon as we started doing the Brian thing.
Certainly did play for the Celtics.
He did. Sort of.
This is a good test, right? Because Brian's whole thing was like, well, I'm closer to LeBron than you are to blah, blah, blah. So let's see what he is as far as like relative to an average NBA player.
Well, he's gonna be low. He's gonna be low, but that's okay. I have a backup guard in my head that I want to pick.
6,800 minutes for his career, 11 seasons. He hung around for 3 teams: Celtics, Nets, Bulls.
That's
He is the
fuck-
worst pick yet.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm almost disappointed.
I was surprised that this is this low, but for his career, his PER is 7.7.
Wow.
You know, the
That brings you to
reputation precedes it. That's correct, though. Like, if I think of basically the worst player that I saw too much of in my lifetime, it is him.
I suppose I just look at like some of the names on this list that are higher than him, and I'm like,
It pays to be a somewhat large white guy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, Dave, that leaves you with a 31.8 remaining for your last 2 picks. Your average is currently 14.7. So, as of right now, you're in the lead, but of
Dave's
course,
lead.
everybody's just trying to end at 15. So, back to you for your second pick in a row.
I was thinking I needed to go better, but I'm actually doing really well right where I needed to be.
And now you can at least
let's
look
see.
at our list now. You can kind of at least get some idea. Again, some
Yeah.
of these may have come in a little differently than we thought, but at least you have some measurement here of what we might be looking for.
No, the worst part is I've picked absolutely the cream of the crop middling players, and that's the Morris twins. So I don't hate myself so much anymore. I am going to go with someone who stuck around a little longer than I think he should have from the 90s. Sharif Abdur-Rahim. Scored a lot, didn't do a damn other thing.
18 points a game for his career. People forget.
I like I said, he scored. He just didn't do shit else. He was the greatest good stats, bad team guy.
Has multiple seasons where he played more than 40 minutes a game.
He's the good bad player,
Yeah.
Dave.
Multiple seasons where
Yeah.
he played every game, although one of them was the lockout strike shortened season. He also played 85 games in 2004 because of a trade. So that's I think McHale play like 83 that one season? He played more than 82.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Abdur-Rahim's got 85 in 2004. A one-time All-Star, third in Rookie of the Year voting, 12 seasons, 28,000 minutes. I'm scrolling. And his PER for his career is 19.
Ooh, a little higher than I wanted. Okay. All right.
I don't remember how to spell his name. We'll get back to that in a
Isn't it
minute.
Abdul?
Abdul. No, I think it's Abdur. I think it's right.
It's not Abdul. It's Abdur. Wow.
It's Abdur. It's hyphenated.
I have
think.
definitely
Yeah.
thought that name was different
Sharif
my entire
Abdurrahim.
life.
So Dave, with one pick left, you can see what that leaves you at. You need a 13.8. Your average is currently 15.3.
Dave, is there a third
You need a
Morris
12.8.
twin?
Let's
Yeah.
12.8.
12.8.
let's see exactly where Jokic puts me.
Oh. You must have a shit player. You don't have Scalabrini in your back pocket anymore.
Well, because I need 120. I'm thinking Jokic is going to be like,
The greatest player of all time.
I don't think he's going to be, he's not going to be like 50.
I mentioned he was the highest of
He's
all
the highest-
time.
He's the best player of all time.
And he is gonna
Oh.
lock you into needing a guard.
Oh no,
I mean,
bad guard.
Wait, but if he's too good, if he is like 50, no, he can't be
59.
50.
he's not. Don't
He's
worry.
going to be like in the 30s.
You're
is what I'm
fine.
thinking.
Yeah, you're fine. It's
Nikola
not bad. It's
Jokic?
not a bad idea at all.
Has led the league in PER 5 straight seasons. 31.3, 32.8, 31.5,
Yeah,
31,
that's what I want.
32. For his career, he's the all-time leader, as I mentioned at the top.
That
27, 28. Yeah.
Great.
As I
Great.
say, I know what Sean's
Great.
doing. Sean
Great.
needs a 14.5 player now. It makes sense.
Basically, his average is currently 15.08.
Pretty good.
Oh,
So
no.
Cody, you have back-to-back picks to wrap this up. We'll
That's
give
tough.
you the in between. We'll give you where you're at, so you're on level ground with them.
I will go with the Brian I was thinking of, and I have genuinely no recollection of how good or bad he is. I just remember his name because he was involved in a big trade the Lakers did. I'm going to go with Brian Grant.
I have him pulled up. I figured it's where you were headed.
Thank you.
He was involved in a big trade, wasn't he?
Yes. And I remember being like, who the fuck is that guy? Why is he in this trade?
He was involved in the Shaq trade, wasn't
Precisely. Him,
And-
Lamar Odom,
Yeah.
and
And don't forget, former Sun
I don't remember who else was in that trade. Fuck.
played 21 games
yeah,
for
Brian Grant
Phoenix
was
his
former
last
Sun,
season.
yeah.
To a tune of a bad PER, by the way, 6.6 for the Suns. But, I mean, it was last year, so of course it was. Brian Grant,
I think you knew that's
Is-
exactly who I was going with.
forward eligible.
Yes, that's what I was
About
banking
half
on.
his career. He played some center towards the end as the NBA got smaller, but he is also the best pick of the draft so far relative to mid. He is a 14.9.
Damn.
Pretty damn good there, Cody.
So, Cody, that leaves you at 99.9, which, of course, is a 20.1. Your average is currently 14.27.
Fuck. So I didn't think of fringe, like, vaguely.
Good.
So let's see. No one on here is a fucking 20. I can't even compete to anyone.
Sharif Abdur-Rahim would be a pretty damn good pick for you.
Yeah,
right
it would be. I think I'm gonna probably end up overshooting this because I don't want to go under. I'd rather go over. Fuck, man.
God, look at these names.
All right,
I know. This is great.
I'm gonna go. I think he's gonna be too good, but I think it's funny if I go too good. I'm gonna go with Antoine Walker.
Ooh. Not Antoine Jameson, huh?
No.
No, because you can't spell his name correctly.
That's true.
All right.
I'm just again. I don't know why it feels like with the scoring thing and I don't know. Maybe this is bad. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's a similar pick to Sharif Abdul-Rahim, if we're being honest.
That's what I was
17.5 a
going
game
for.
his career, but pretty bad everywhere else. Took 20 shots a game 4 times in his career. Played 40-plus minutes 4 times in his career. It was a different era. I was actually looking at back. Like, there's this weird thing that's popped up in my algorithm that's now showing me, like, starting lineups from teams in, like, the mid-2000s, and it's like, oh, yeah, no, we're way more talented as a league now than we were then. Jesus Christ. Like, 3 of these
That's
5
a whole
players
other
shouldn't even be
show, that
starting.
argument.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, the rosters are so much more deep now than they were then. 31,500 minutes for Twan in his career. 12 seasons, 5 teams. Got a little wacky towards the end after the initial Boston stint. In his 12-year career, Antoine Walker is your final pick at a 16 PER.
Damn. Not
Leaves
good
you
enough.
4.1 short. Your average is 14.48.
Damn.
Did he lose 3 points for the K that's missing in the name?
Okay.
Sure.
I
Damn.
think that this is going to be, I think he's going to be too high. But every other name that I thought of, it doesn't work.
I have a name for Sean's, and
But you should say this. You shouldn't say it now because we're going to do this again.
I don't care. I want to know if it would work for you because I think he's super mid level. So go ahead and say what you're going to say.
I'm going to say it's going to be a little too good, but he had some years in Miami that I think maybe brought it down. Goran Dragic.
What's funny is I actually looked up Goran earlier today.
He has to be mid
too much.
overall.
A
You're thinking he's too good, Dave?
I think so. For what you need 14.4. Like, I think he's higher than that.
I know, but like he had some not bad years, but like
I can't
Goran tragic. I looked him up earlier because I was like, when I was trying to think of mid players, he was one that popped into my head as a possibility, just to kind of gauge what this would look like. 15 seasons, 6 for the Suns, 25,000 minutes, an All-Star one time, All-NBA one time. Should have been an All-Star that season too. We got fucked, but who cares? For his career, Goran Dragic is a 16.5.
okay,
Pretty damn good.
pretty dang
So-
good.
I mean, you're ahead of me.
Sean, 2.1 over. His average is 15.26, so he's 0.26 ahead of the average, but he's ahead of Cody as far as proximity to 15. So, Dave, you have the final pick to see if you can beat Sean.
Briefly, I'm just realizing that Antoine Walker is almost as good of a player, or is barely a better player than Robin Lopez during his career right now.
Sure, and it's also
According to PER. That's
PER
fucking
is like
wild.
pace adjusted, and and every season has to be 15, so it's all relative. But yes,
That's fucking
it
wild.
goes to show you that as good of a scorer as Antoine was, he didn't do jack shit.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Dave, what you got?
I had names in my mind, and the one name in my mind isn't going to work because I think he's too low. And where you are, I need to really thread this needle well. Because, I mean, a 14 would do it for me here. Middle of the mid players, stuck around for a long period of time. Jamal Crawford.
Final
That's
answer?
pretty fair.
I think it's too
He's too good.
I think it's too good, but we'll see. He did stick around for a long time.
So I will say the player I was going to pitch is Sam Cassell.
I thought about him.
That's
He crossed
a good
my
one.
mind.
Oh, that's a damn good one.
Yeah, that's who I was
think
thinking.
he might be. I don't know. But I'm going to Crawford. He was constantly on the bench. He was streaky as all hell. Turnovers. I'll go there.
3-time sixth man of the year. Former Sun. You remember?
I have a lot of former Suns.
39,000 minutes in his career. Played for 20
He
seasons.
played a lot.
He just kept hanging around and getting buckets off the bench. And
that's what I'm hoping for in this, honestly, is that he hung around a long time, but didn't do a lot. Like like somebody like Isaiah Thomas, not the Pistons guy, but this Isaiah Thomas shined brightly and then fell off. That'd have a high PER. So that's what I'm hoping for here.
Oh, that's who I should have used.
he
I
is
have a great one for next time.
the
Great one.
epitome of what we're looking for here.
Oh no.
And
15 would be too
he
high,
is
though.
tied for the best pick in this draft. If it's a 14.9, Sean and Dave tie. If it's a 15.1, Sean wins. It's a 15.1. He is decidedly mid, but by 0.2
Holy
or an
shit.
average of 0.02, Sean has won our first mid NBA player draft because that's a very, very good pick.
I know my fucking mid player.
Sean is mid. Yes.
We've watched a lot of them over the course of our lives.
Holy shit.
Do I have the most obscure list? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Fucking Gugliotta, Voskuhl, Magic Lampe.
Voskuhl and
Tony
Lampe.
Delk?
I
are
mean,
pretty
Delk,
amazing.
Voskuhl, Lampe, yeah, because Gugliotta, was at least a decent player.
I think he was on the Olympic team, or
I
at
feel-
least like a
Yeah,
sub.
one of
I
the
feel
in
so
between
sick.
years.
I feel so sick that the most perfect player I could have picked for this draft was too much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing the math in my head. I'm like, oh, this is going to be close. And he was slightly too good. And again, like perfectly mid for what we were looking for. But for your last pick,
I got
shade too high.
I went under everything, and I didn't do a single-digit player. And you fuckers used single-digit players and nailed closer to this. God
Yeah.
damn it.
It was always getting a strategy to, and that's why I went for Jokic a little bit earlier, because I didn't want one of you guys to do the obvious highest one.
Yeah.
I thought he
To
would
know that you're locking near a 30,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, I
But
thought it'd be a
even so-
30, but that worked. What?
But even so, the David Robinson pick was damn near.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not that far off.
You just did it right away rather than at the end.
Yeah.
So he's in your starting lineup, and Jokic is coming off the bench where he belongs.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, you got to start with Ben Wallace, and then you bring out Voskuhl, and then Jokic. If it's garbage
if maybe
time.
there's only if there's an injury or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
you know.
Right. If forced.
I have so many other good names that would make you sick.
We all have 2 players at 15, like 15 to 15.9, and Sean's got no 14s, Dave's got no 14s, and I only had the one. Well, the Brian Grant almost 15 exactly. So, so if you take their 2.3 and 2.1, and you add it to mine, what is the average of all 3 of us together?
Pretty fucking good.
Really good.
That's 4.4 added to your. Yeah, that's exactly 120.
We're off by like 0.2 as a team.
No,
Yeah.
no.
0.3.
Oh,
Point
we're
three.
0.3. Yeah, we're off by 0.3
Yeah, you're
as
off
a
by
team.
0.3 with all 3 teams combined.
That's pretty goddamn
Are
good.
shitty NBA players.
Which means the average is off by 0.1 because you divide that by 3. So, yeah.
I mean, that's really
As a
fucking
team
good.
effort, that's pretty good, and I'm impressed that you guys were that close together. That's fucking good.
Yeah, I'm super happy you guys did great because again I was like, okay, because this is going to unlock all sorts of obscure whatever the hell you want to pull from, and again like mid 2000 Suns teams, sure, like whatever you want, it's yours, baby.
Yeah, I have a lot of shitty Laker players still to go to. You're right.
I'll go older names. If we just get, I'll go older names. I'll go in the 80s
And
70s.
You
You
all
know.
like there's really, I mean, I guess technically, like obviously Jokic, a couple other players are active, but you also could just like start going through who's the most mid players of today's NBA. Have that route too. You have all sorts of options available to you.
Yep. Cool.
All right, Sean wins the draft. Congratulations. Cody finishes
close.
30. Lost
So
his crown from
close.
last time. Dave was very close, and again tied for the best pick of the draft, but unfortunately too much at the end. And that's the end of the episode. We will be back next week, presumably talking about the Switch 2 for at least part of it, if this hour direct is going to give us any meaningful details, and it sure as hell better. So at the very least, we'll probably bring that up, although it's a shame it's going to be 6 days old by then. But what are you going to do? We're live on Tuesday nights. In between episodes, you can find us at our website, grayareas.live, or youtube.com/@grayareaslive. We'll see you next time.